The sun blazed hot over the small town of Brookhaven as 17-year-old Janelle Harris guided her mom's old blue Ford down Elm Street. The engine rumbled beneath her like an old friend, familiar from months of practice drives with her dad. But today, she was alone. No licensed adult beside her, just her learner's permit tucked into her wallet and a sense of urgency growing in her chest. She didn't have much choice. Her mother needed medicine and groceries, and there was no one else to get them. Just a quick trip, she told herself, double-checking her mirrors as she came to a red light. 10 minutes to the store and back. Nobody would even know. Her mom, Monica, had been home from the hospital only 3 days, recovering from back surgery that had left her nearly immobile. Janelle's father, Major Stephen Harris, was on active military duty and couldn't be reached. So it was up to Janelle: school, chores, meals, and now this emergency errand. The light turned green. She pressed the gas gently, hearing her dad's voice in her head, smooth and steady. "Jay." That thought made her smile until blue and red lights exploded in her rearview mirror. No, no, no. Her heart thumped against her ribs. She checked her speed. She'd signaled. She hadn't run a light. What could be wrong? With trembling fingers, she put on her signal and pulled to the shoulder of the road. Hands on the wheel. Stay calm. Be respectful. She could hear her parents' voices reminding her what to do. The officer stepped from his cruiser and adjusted his utility belt as he approached. He looked to be in his late 40s, weary around the eyes. As he neared the window, she could see the name tag, Officer Bradley. "License and registration," he said. No greeting, no smile. Janelle rolled down the window and tried to steady her voice. "Good afternoon, officer." "License and registration," he repeated, flatly. "It's just a learner's permit," she said, handing it over. She reached over to the glove box, fumbling with the latch and accidentally hitting the hazard lights. Blinking. Her nerves were winning. "Sorry," she muttered as she handed him the papers. Officer Bradley stared at her permit, frowning. "You know you can't drive alone on this, right? Where's the licensed driver?" "My mom can't drive. She had surgery. She needed her medication, and there was no one else." He didn't respond. Instead, he shone his flashlight around the car, then walked around back. "Your taillight's out too," he called. When he returned to her window, his voice was sterner. "Step out of the vehicle." Her stomach dropped. "Am I in trouble?" "You're driving without proper supervision. That's a violation. And you've got a vehicle defect." "Yes, you're in trouble." She climbed out of the car carefully. "My dad would have driven me, but he's just back from overseas. He had to report to base this morning." Officer Bradley's mouth twitched into something like a smirk. "Right. Let me guess, Special Forces?" "Every kid's dad is Special Forces when they're caught breaking the rules." The mockery hit her like a slap. Tears prickled behind her eyes, but she swallowed them back. Cars passed by slowly, some drivers rubbernecking. She stood beside her mom's sedan, suddenly feeling exposed under the weight of the officer's disbelief. Bradley walked back to his car. She saw him speak into his radio, his eyes occasionally flicking toward her. With shaking thumbs, she pulled out her phone and texted, "Dad, I need help." Pulled over on Elm. Mom needed meds. Her phone buzzed a minute later. "On my way. Don't sign anything." She exhaled sharply. Bradley returned with his ticket device. "You understand you're in violation, right?" he said. "I do, sir. But it was an emergency." "No exceptions for emergencies," he muttered, tapping the screen. "That light's a safety hazard, too." She didn't want to cry. "Not here. I told you, my dad's in Special Forces." Bradley rolled his eyes. Every military kid tries that line. Colonel, General, Secret Agent. Her chest tightened. "My dad is Master Sergeant Stephen Harris, 3rd Special Forces Group. He served 8 tours." He chuckled. "Sure he is. And I'm the mayor of New York." She didn't reply. "Sign this," he said, holding out the stylus. "Can I check my phone? My mom might need something." He sighed. "Quick." She read the message again. "On my way. Don't sign anything yet. I'd like to wait until he arrives," she said. Bradley looked annoyed. "You've got 10 minutes. Then I call a tow." Janelle leaned against the car, trying to stay composed. Every passing minute felt heavier. Then, she heard it, a low growl of an engine. She turned her head and saw a black SUV slowing to a stop behind the patrol car. Her relief was instant. Bradley glanced back and frowned. "Bet you're right." She nodded. "That's my dad." The SUV door opened, and polished boots hit the pavement. The man who stepped out wore a pressed army dress uniform, medals gleaming. But it was the green beret on his head that made Officer Bradley straighten unconsciously. Stephen Harris approached with quiet force, his gait even, his presence commanding. Janelle stood taller just having him near. "Good afternoon, officer," he said. "I understand you've detained my daughter." Bradley's posture shifted slightly, his hand moving away from his belt. "Sir, I didn't realize." "You couldn't have," Stephen said calmly. "May I ask what's happening?" "She was driving unsupervised," Bradley said, eyes flicking to the ribbons and badges on Stephen's uniform. "And the vehicle has a defect." Stephen nodded. "Understandable. She was getting pain medication for my wife. Just home from back surgery." "She mentioned that," Bradley muttered, suddenly unsure of himself. Stephen handed over his military ID. The officer's eyes widened as he examined it. "Special Forces." "Yes, sir. Back from a 14-month deployment last week." Bradley handed it back. "Your daughter mentioned it, but, well, I didn't believe her." "I see." Stephen placed a hand on Janelle's shoulder. "And the tail light?" "Left side. Burned out." "I'll handle it today," Stephen said. "But regarding this citation, perhaps we could discuss it further." They stepped a few feet away to the shade of a maple tree. Stephen's tone stayed calm but firm. "You've served here 15 years, yes?" Bradley nodded, surprised. "That's right. I respect that. We serve differently, but we serve all the same. My daughter was trying to help. I'd appreciate if you consider using your discretion." There was a beat of silence. Then Bradley exhaled. "I have a 16-year-old daughter myself. She's always trying to help her mom." He pulled out his notepad and tore a page from it. "I'll issue a warning for the light. Have it fixed in 48 hours. Stephen offered his hand. "Thank you." Bradley shook it. "And for driving without supervision this time, I'll let it go. But she can't do it again." "She won't," Stephen said. "And we appreciate your understanding." Bradley paused, then said, "If your wife's still recovering, our department has a community support program. We might be able to help with transportation." Stephen raised an eyebrow. "That's very generous." He handed over a business card. "This is my number. Call if you need assistance." "We will," Stephen replied. As they walked back to the cars, Janelle clutched the pharmacy bag tighter. "Let's get Mom her meds," she said. "We also need to fix that tail light." Bradley nodded. "Walker's Auto on Chestnut. Open till 6. Tell Em I sent you." "Thank you, officer. Call me Brad." "Stephen," he replied with a small smile. They parted with mutual respect, and as Officer Bradley drove away, Janelle let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "You okay?" her dad asked. "Yeah, just scared for a while." "You handled it with grace," he said. "More than most adults could." "He didn't believe me, Dad. Not until he saw you." Stephen nodded. "People see what they expect to see." They stopped at the auto shop, where the mechanic bumped them to the front of the line. 20 minutes later, they were back on the road, 2 working tail lights behind them. "Dad," she said as they neared home, "do you think you learned something today?" "I think we all did." They pulled into their driveway, where Monica sat propped up on the couch, worry in her eyes. "I was getting nervous," she said. Janelle handed her the medicine with a smile. "We made it." As her mother took the dose, Stephen explained the situation in calm tones. Monica's eyes widened at parts, but when Stephen described how things had turned around, she smiled. "You always see the person behind the badge," she said. "I try." Over lunch, Janelle finally said, "I think I know what I want to do after school." "What's that?" her dad asked. "Something that helps people see each other better. Maybe law. Maybe advocacy. But something that builds bridges." Stephen and Monica exchanged proud looks. "The world needs more bridge builders," Stephen said. And in that quiet kitchen, over peanut butter sandwiches and sun-dappled counters, a lesson deeper than any textbook settled in the air.